Hi, welcome back to Waxing On Video Friday. We've done a lot of classic rock videos over the last few years. Today we're going to change it up a little bit and do a little bit of a jazz video. And this is a fellow who, if you got a chance to see him play, you were lucky. He didn't do a lot of touring. He didn't do a lot of public performance, especially in the later years. But boy, what a legend he was. And we're talking about Miles Davis. I mean, this guy had changed the face of music so many times. He was involved in bebop. He came up with cool jazz. He did modal jazz. And in the late 60s, he got moving more into rock-oriented music. The rhythm section, the band, the kind of tunes became less structured. The band was a little more free-form. The album, one of the big breakout albums was Bitches Brew, won all kinds of accolades. Followed that up with In a Silent Way. Well, no, maybe In a Silent Way was the first one in there, then Bitches Brew. And what we're looking at here is music from around that era. Now, my first Miles Davis albums, yeah, they were in that early 70s to about 74, 75, till he went on his hiatus. And there was some wild and crazy stuff going on there, I'll tell you. It was not like old jazz. It was not like bebop. It wasn't like anything you'd heard before. It was all, even the albums listed New Directions in Music by Miles Davis because they knew it was so unique and so changing. And the people he had playing in his band were just some people that turned out to be great, great jazz artists in their own right later on. I mean, these guys had a start with him, and I mean, the sky was the limit. We got Joe Zawinul, we got Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea. All of these guys played with Miles' band. It's just amazing. Now, we're going to take a glimpse at it. I never got a chance to see him until he came back after the hiatus. So he was in a whole different headspace then. Songs were a little more melodic, a little more of a groove to them. I think about the time I saw him was late to mid 80s in there. He was touring, either backing or supporting We Want Miles or Star People. I'm just not sure which album at the time. But again, he'd come out. There was no talking, there was no announcing songs. They started to play, you knew the concert was over when they quit playing and walked off the stage. And during that, there was a lot of segues into different tunes. The players jumped in, they jumped out, things always changed. And I don't think if you went to any concert, any two were the same. So it was always something new. And like I say, I saw him in the mid to late 80s. That was the first time I know of him even being in my area. He had been in Toronto back in the 70s. I remember seeing an ad that he was playing there during the heyday of that transition period from jazz to where he ended up on the comeback. But those are the only two times I even remember seeing him listed as being in Canada. So we never got a lot of opportunity to see him. And he didn't tour a lot. Now I'm just looking on here. This album draws from In a Silent Way and Bitches Brew. It's called Copenhagen Concerts, 1969. The band he's got with him on this one is Miles, Wayne Shorter, who went on to Weather Report. We've got Chick Corea, Return to Forever, and Chick Corea as a soloist as well. Dave Holland, winning lots of awards later on as bass player and band leader. And Jack DeJohnette on drums. Again, another excellent pair. Just a great band altogether. And we've got two different sets on here. We've got a set from Denmark from November 4th, 1969. And we've got another one from Italy, October 27th, 1969. So we're separated by a few days in between there, between the October and November gig. Okay, let's take a look at tunes we're doing here. On the November gig in Copenhagen, we got Bitches Brew, Agitation, I Fall in Love Too Easily, Sammy Kahn, Julie Stein. Seems to not fit in with this, but I'll tell you, he used that a lot. Even on the album, my first album, Live at Fillmore, he was still sneaking that tune in, and it cropped up quite a few times. Different lengths, different quotes from it. But he always seemed to work it in. We've got Sanctuary, and it's about that time moving into the song called The Theme. Most of these all from Miles Davis, except for the Sammy Kahn, Julie Stein. On the Italy gig, we've got Bitches Brew again, Miles Runs the Voodoo Down from that same album. I Fall in Love Too Easily is back in. Sammy Kahn, Julie Stein, a shortened version here, less than 3 minutes this time. The first one was almost 4 minutes. Sanctuary, Directions by Joe Zalm, again from Weather Report and Zonal Syndicate, and him and Wayne Shorter were the key components there of Weather Report. And Miss Qualero by Wayne Shorter. Total runtime on the two is an hour and 21 minutes. Great to see the band. I mean, I never got to see them during this era. I saw them later on. It's a unique way of performance, and the way all of this melds together, and the way the band is just always constantly changing what's happening. It's a real experience. If you never got a chance to see Miles live, here's your chance. There are a couple other videos out there. I grabbed this one only because this was at the beginning of the transition period when he was going from what he was playing in the 60s into that style of music he was doing in the 70s. So it's when things were starting to change. A good depiction of what was going on during that transition. I don't know, some of this may be available on YouTube. I don't know if you can buy hard copies of this one or not. Certainly check out places like, I'm going to say Amazon, because that's where I buy most of my hard copy. But you can, I don't know if streaming networks do videos on or not. Certainly some of this is covered on albums on the streaming networks. If you can't get the video, you can go back and check the albums out. We got Live at Fillmore, a couple of different ones, Live at Fillmore East, Fillmore West in there. He was doing a lot of concerts around this time. Miles Davis, a classic to see in concert if you had the chance. If not, video's the way to go. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. We're winding down February, man. We're almost going to be into March by the end of next week. Everybody have a great weekend. Take care, stay safe. See you on Monday.